Good morning, Johnny. How you doing, brother? You well?
Very well, thank you, Joe. And yourself?
I'm blessed, always, in always. Listen, for those who are listening, watching this interview, I'm here with Johnny. He's the founder of MMARAP, which is mixed martial arts. Go on, Johnny. Tell me what the rap's for.
All right, almost said MMA-RAP, mixed martial arts for reform and progression. We all know about the MMA, which is the mixed martial arts. For myself, the rap is just important because it's reform and progression. We all should be reforming and we all should be progressing in no matter what fields of life we're choosing, whether it's sports, whether it's a dentist, whether it's an accountancy, whichever professional route you take, you should always be reforming and progressing to achieve that better standard.
Now, Johnny, your initiative, your initiative is a little different. It's you take on and provide services specifically and mostly for disabled people. It's interesting. I was watching the Oscar Pistorius documentary, part 2 of a 4-part documentary yesterday. I've just managed to catch it. I didn't know it was on. And his dad described his son as not disabled, but differently abled, right? And I like that because it speaks. I mean, I've been covering disability sport pretty much my whole career, and I've seen some disabled people do some absolutely amazing things that I can't do as an able-bodied person. So I like the fact that he referred to them as differently abled as opposed to disabled. Now, you work with those people as a matter of course. So talk about, some of the things that we explained last year when we interviewed you. Or was it the year before? I can't remember. But you outlined what MMARAP does, where it is. Take the floor.
Yeah, like I say, I built this in 2012. The ethos is to work with the deaf, blind, and disabled people and disadvantaged. They're just as important. Disadvantage stems from SEN, homeless, broken homes, to young offenders, you see. But obviously, for my purpose for MMARAP, for the disabled, is to prove, and like you said, remove that hashtag disabled, because they're not. Working with or engaging with those who are who are amputees, deaf, blind, ADHD, autistic, cerebral palsy, which is a big spectrum as well. They prove to me and to everyone that they are just the same. Their process is different. That's the only thing in their world amongst ours. They process things different. They approach things differently. There's a big campaign, it still goes on, of the term disabled. Deaf people don't like to be called disabled. So same thing with blind, same thing with amputees. But because of this hashtag, and as an umbrella is disabled, then so be it. But for myself, I like you say, I remove that because it is different. And with the background I have or came from, mixed martial arts, I've used those elements to empower and enrich these people who want to better themselves through the sport of MMA. And as you know, MMA is a phenomenal sport now. It's phenomenal. It's just going from strength to strength.
I've been involved in mixed martial arts for over a decade now, but you've been involved with it even longer. You've written a book on it. I know that you've helped people that have made movies in it and documentaries and stuff like that. You've assisted with providing contacts to your network and stuff like that. But I guess for the layperson who is just just sees UFC, just sees Bellator, they must be sitting there thinking, now, how on earth are disabled people getting involved with this brutal sport? I'd love for them to see one of your sessions, but just outline some of the things and the work that you do with these people, Johnny.
Okay, number one, I've not built the company to use MMA as a. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. The people who come to our programs, we don't initiate them to become combatants. That's not what we're here for. If they want to train to become combatants, UFC or whatever promotions, there's dojos for that. I use the elements of MMA to empower them. So yes, they come to our sessions. It's just like any other sessions. Obviously, due to COVID, we're not able to do any mats, any groundwork. But excuse me, kickboxing, shadow kickboxing, karate, boxing. So there are elements that we still use for MMA that can empower them. COVID, as you know, it's been a dent, a dawn to a lot of people. So we still use the elements of MMA through our sessions to empower these people. Enrichment, enlightenment for their homes, safer communities. So there's a lot of connotations to this. So our sessions is like any other session that you would go to any gym across the UK or across the world. It's just that I focus specifically towards those who are disabled, who don't really get a chance to go out there because of their anxiety or don't feel comfortable. So MMARAP is a home for them. They're seeing people who are looked at differently, but are not different. And we are a family.
I don't know if you watched Question Time last Thursday. And for those who watch this interview, they'll probably give it away when we've done this. But there was a young lady on there, a disabled young lady on there, who was given the floor to really just share an insight into how disabled people have been dealt with this year, and in general. And for the most part, they're ignored. I did an interview with Richard Whitehead, who's a Paralympic athlete, one of the most decorated in this country, early on in the first lockdown, and he just told a story about how missing from the narrative was any kind of care and attention to disabled people within the most difficult time in recent history for the whole world. And it just got me thinking, who funds them doing this with you, and who funds you doing this with them? Is money easy to come by?
It's out there. The money's out there. I don't want to sound too negative. The money is out there. Again, with the grants and the fundings, you have to match and meet their criteria. I've been rejected many times. I think this is part of the course, part of the journey of applying for grants. But again, they pick and choose who they favour. At the moment, we've been funded by Vision Foundation, primarily towards the blind and sightless people, which has been fantastic. So that's a project we've run for 1 year. So yes, in terms of funding, it is tough. It is tough, but again, it's having the right support. So it's not always about the money. Having the right support will generate the money. Yes. Again, it's having the mindset. My company is very, very low on finance. I am seeking financial support. Any investors, any private investors, obviously more grants, more fundraising and crowdfunding. So yes, we're always seeking funding, but I've not built this to focus myself on the finance, on money. I built MMARAP so to give the opportunity for those young people and elders to experience the elements of mixed martial arts, because as you know, it is brutal. It's still a sport, but it's brutal. But it's fun.
I know you love training, Johnny. I mean, you and I off camera, we talk for hours about training and looking after ourselves and making sure the body and the mind are right. I guess from a personal point of view, Johnny, what drew you to this particular area? Why was it you felt it necessary to help these people in this way and get involved in the sport and reform and progression in this, guys?
I'm speaking from my own experience. I faced racism. I faced discrimination, neglect, isolated. I face all those things that they're facing in oneself. So magnify that by times 10 or more, and being disabled. I just thought, there's a reason why I've been chosen to do what I'm doing. Thank God I'm not of that condition. I should say thank God, but I'm not of those conditions who is blind or who has an amputee. I'm not there, but I only can imagine what it's like for them to try and get a job, to face an exam, to try and move out of one circle to the next, but they've been looked at differently because of their condition. So this is why I built it. I know the power of MMA, and there's a lot of MMA athletes out there that are or who do have a disability, mental disability, whether it's ADHD, autistic, or even dyslexic. You know, and there's one guy who's dyslexic, Brad Pickett. You know, he's dyslexic. He's in my book. But this is why I built MMARAP, because it's an outlet.
What do you want to see moving forward in terms of progression? I know you've got a round of crowdfunding going on, and you've already outlined you're looking for private and commercial investors in the background. For all those who are watching this interview now and are wondering how they can get involved in supporting, give them the link or point them to the direction of the crowdfunding round that you're doing at the moment. But for you, money aside, how would you like to close the year out? And what does 2021 represent for MMARAP?
Oh, 2021 is going to be magnificent. Again, it's the mindset. COVID has been a blessing. It's been a detriment and it's been a dent. Yes, of course it has, but it's been a blessing in disguise. Again, thanks to Vision Foundation, who supported us, giving us 1 year funding. So we are providing sessions, or will return to provide a session for the blind and sightless people. It's great. 2021 is going to be magnificent. We're going to reach out to more London boroughs, Greenwich, Ealing, and also further afield. We're speaking to beyond Greater London. I'm not going to name any names yet, but you will see in the near future. It's going to be a fantastic year for myself and for the whole team and organisation. In terms of crowdfunding, we do have an Aviva Community Fund, which has been launched since last week. We've got 30 days, I think about 27 days left. So guys, please visit www.mmarap.co.uk. You will see a link on there. You see everything about what we're trying to achieve. So please vote. The more votes, the more we'll be nominated or appointed forward. So it's a massive deal. It's not just helping me, you're helping those around me. And now that we're in this climate where the term disabled has been morally recognized, I'm sure you have a family member who's disabled, deaf, blind, autistic. One in three has a family member who is deaf, blind, or disabled. It's a fact. So this is something that you cannot ignore. You cannot ignore it.
Johnny, I don't want to ignore it. I want to support people like yourself that are doing good initiatives to help them and the wider audience, and just help people understand how to connect with disabled people. Sometimes for those who, you say 1 in 3 of us, but for those who it might not be their everyday experience to deal with disabled people, have a look at what Johnny's doing, have a look at what MMARAP's doing, because they're connected. And I can only see it growing. So more power to you, Johnny. Is there anything else you want to tell the viewers, listeners before you leave?
No, what I say, chin up. It's tough times, but like I say, visit our website, visit Instagram, at MMARAP_official. We're on Twitter, MMARAP. We're on Facebook, MMARAP1. Looked at our LinkedIn page, Mixed Martial Arts for Reform Progression. Again, MMARAP. Guys, all we're asking to do is support us. Just like those people out there that want support, we want the same as well. We rise by helping others. My new way of thinking, or my announcement, shall I say, is support and giving is a new wealth of richness. It's not what you have, it's what you do with what you have.